Why it sucked to be a medieval executioner. Yes, even the cool axe-wielding kind. We tend to imagine medieval executioners as mysterious, muscled figures cloaked in black, with axes sharper than their morals, and voices deeper than a monastery well. In movies, they have swagger, power, and job security that would make a knight jealous. But the truth? Being a medieval executioner absolutely sucks. Let's peel off the hood and look at the grim, messy, and occasionally hilarious reality of the profession.
The pay was, bloody terrible. Executioners were technically government employees, but not the kind that came with pensions or dental plans. They were often paid per head, literally, which sounds cool until you realize how infrequent executions could be in smaller towns. Worse, their job descriptions were oddly broad. In addition to decapitations and hangings, they also had to torture people, clean up bodies, and dispose of various rotting parts. Oh, and sometimes clean public latrines. So yeah, one day you're swinging an axe, the next you're scooping poop. Congratulations.
Nobody liked you, except maybe other executioners. Executioners lived in social exile. They were considered spiritually unclean, like a bad smell with a sword. Villagers avoided them. Priests hesitated to give them sacraments. People crossed the street when they saw them, assuming the executioner wasn't already crossing it with a rusty saw. Marriage was hard too. One German executioner advertised for a wife in 1473 and got exactly 0 applicants. Probably because his hobbies included beheadings and grave robbing for science or something like that. One mistake and you were the joke of the century. Imagine having to chop off someone's head cleanly in front of a screaming crowd with a badly balanced axe. If you missed, the crowd booed, the victim screamed, and you had to keep hacking like a lumberjack on Red Bull while everyone judged your technique. Some botched executions became legendary. One guy took 5 swings to decapitate a noblewoman. That wasn't execution, that was amateur butchery. Women executioners? Yes, and it sucked for them too. Though rare, there were female executioners, often widows of male ones who inherited the job. Imagine being handed a legacy of gore and rejection like it was grandma's soup recipe. Women in the role had even worse social standing. Not only were they feared and shunned, but many people thought they were witches simply because they knew how to tie a noose. Burn the patriarchy indeed.
Gunther the Gentle of Würzburg. Gunther inherited the role from his father, who once beheaded a cow by mistake in a public demonstration. Determined to do better, Gunther practiced chopping melons in his backyard. He earned the nickname the Gentle after giving a condemned man a back rub before hanging him. Gunther's real problem, gout. Swinging a 30-pound axe while having swollen feet is less badass and more tragic. Once during an execution, his pants fell down. The criminal laughed so hard he accidentally strangled himself before the noose tightened. It was the only time Gunther was praised for speed. Brunhilde of Bergen. Brunhilde was the only female executioner in her region. Her husband died during a messy boiling alive accident involving ale, debtors, and very bad math. When no one else would take the role, Brunhilde stepped up. With a rolling pin, she eventually swapped for a sword. She was tough, smart, and entirely unloved by her neighbors. Kids threw eggs at her house until one of them mysteriously disappeared. Once, when she performed a perfect 3-stroke beheading, the mayor asked her to also host community sewing classes. She declined. She retired at 48, moved to a monastery, and was only allowed in because she pretended to be mute. For fun, she carved tiny gallows out of wood and left them on villagers' doorsteps.
Job satisfaction. Yes, really. It may sound strange, almost concerning, but some medieval executioners, especially the particularly thick-skinned or emotionally unhinged, took a strange pride in their work. Among them was Brunhilde, who claimed she never once had a bad day at the scaffold. "I sleep well at night," she once said, "partly because I do good, honest work, and partly because nobody dares knock on my door." Brunhilde genuinely enjoyed her work, not out of cruelty, but out of craftsmanship. She took pride in clean drops, tight knots, and punctual executions. "If a man twitches, that's on you," she often said, adjusting the noose around a neck like a florist tying ribbon. To her, it wasn't about death, it was about doing the job right. So why did anyone do it? Desperation, family tradition, or occasionally a bizarre sense of justice. Executioners were sometimes given special privileges. They could own land, take discarded possessions from criminals, or conduct autopsies, a rare honor in the Middle Ages. Some even became weirdly respected, posthumously. But make no mistake, it was a lonely, dangerous, and thankless job. The only people who liked you were thieves, briefly, gravediggers, professionally, and cats, because you always had scraps. So, next time you watch a movie with a smug hooded hangman, just remember, his real-life counterpart probably smelled like lard, was haunted by screams, and was still waiting for someone to invite him to brunch. In short, being a medieval executioner was like being a janitor, doctor, soldier, and social pariah all rolled into one, with blood and 0 hugs.